Bitcoin is repeating a deadly pattern. It's time to wake up, it's time to smell the coffee, and it's time to know exactly what this pattern is. This is not a pattern to play with. It is so strong that this exact pattern was the exact top of the market in 2021. Take a look at this gruesome pattern, and then I'm going to show you the developments that Bitcoin just made, which could save the day. But first, let's look at the pattern. In 2021, we had what's called bearish divergence, which means that the price in this red circle in 2021 was here, while our indicator was way up here. And then price made a higher high. You can see price went higher in the second red circle. At the same time, our indicator went lower. This is a textbook bearish reversal pattern. This is called bearish divergence. It typically marks market cycle tops. Whether you're in crypto, you're in the stock market, real estate, no matter what it is, if you look at the chart, bearish divergence often marks the absolute market cycle peak. But there's a problem. Bitcoin has just done the exact same pattern. Take a look at this red circle from 2024 and our indicator way up here. And then our second red circle went higher and our indicator went lower. It's a gruesome pattern. It's a deadly pattern, and it's repeating right before our eyes, and it gets worse. Take a look. You see in 2021, that bearish reversal that happened right at the market cycle top? Yeah, our two red circles were 300 days apart. Why is that important? Well, in today's market, our two red circles are 300 days apart. But it doesn't stop there. It gets even crazier. You see this green box right in the middle here? This is an anomaly. This is what happened in 2021. In between our two red circles, we had this strange thing happen in the market where price actually went below our green moving average, which in a bull market typically doesn't happen. Well, it happened exactly in between these two red circles. But in present day, it did the exact same thing. This exact pattern is printing right before our eyes. These two red circles, 300 days apart. This green box, the anomaly, right in the middle of our two red circles, bearish divergence, and there were a few things that we were waiting for in the market. We wanted Bitcoin to do a couple things which could avoid all of the deadly, gruesome bloodbath that would follow if this were to continue. We want Bitcoin to save the day. We want Bitcoin to avoid this bearish divergence. And there were several things in the market that we were waiting and hoping that Bitcoin could do. And in this video, I'm going to give the latest and greatest updates, hot off the press, of things that just happened in the market and what they're telling us about Bitcoin in its next huge move that it's preparing for right now. Let's get into it. So here we are. We're on the Bitcoin US dollar index, and today we're on the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, we've got price action above our head. And we're going to get into the boxes and how you can draw this chart at home. It'll be simple. It'll be easy, and it'll be clean. You will be able to do it, and you're going to feel so powerful afterwards. By the way, I have a very important question to ask. Watch out for it later. I'm very curious to how you're going to answer it. Middle of our screen, we have the RSI, overbought, oversold. In the bottom of our screen, we have the stochastic RSI, our momentum. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to really dive in to this pattern, what we saw in 2021, and how the exact pattern is repeating in present day. But where we have to hone in on is this red box where we're in right now, because that's the exact pattern that we printed here. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. You do not need to know charts inside and out, backwards and forwards to know. Once we finished our time in this red box, it didn't end well. Things got pretty bad. In fact, this was the worst part of the entire bear market, was the fall from here to here once we got out of this red box. So that's the last thing that we want. We are in the red box now. That's not up for debate. That's not up for debate. We can't sit here and debate, well, I think we're not in the red box. Actually, we're exactly in the red box, okay? You can take all the chart experts in the world and you can show them exactly this chart, and nobody would be able to outwit anybody that we're not in this red box. By the way, we understand now that we've looked at all of the details that we clearly have bearish divergence in today's market And we clearly understand we have bearish divergence in 2021. And now it seems obvious and now it seems logical, even though a lot of people are still not talking about this bearish divergence, but you can see it now. One of the craziest pieces of this is 8 months ago, we were in a certain situation in the market cycle. And 8 months ago, I warned everyone that we were waiting for something specific in the chart, that we were likely to have an all-time high, but when we got there, we were also likely to have bearish divergence. This is what I had to say 8 months ago. Roll the clip. And the only thing that's going to save the day is the weekly stochastic RSI. That has the capability to lead Bitcoin to a new all-time high. The problem is once we get to a new all-time high, we're going to need to avoid ridiculously strong bearish divergence. That means the weekly RSI has to make a higher high, higher than 88, something that it's only done a few times in the history of Bitcoin. So in that clip, you can see we said, hey, just pump the brakes a little bit. We were waiting for this stochastic RSI cross back in September-ish. And we said this stochastic RSI cross that we were waiting for September 2024 could very well lead us to an all-time high. However, once we get there, it's likely that we are going to have bearish divergence. It's pretty crazy to say that's what we were pressing 8 months ago. And here we are today living that reality. We are in the red box right now, and we cannot debate what happened after the red box here. That was the most gruesome fall in the bear market. So now that we have that out of the way, there is a way that Bitcoin could save the day and shock the world and go sky high. Yes, there is a chance that Bitcoin could see a resurgence and see incredible bullishness come into the market. And there is an outside chance that Bitcoin could snap this bearish divergence, throw it in the trash, and instead explode upward. We're going to explain what to watch in the chart. It's something so easy. Even if you're 5 years old, you'll be able to look at the chart and you'll be able to know, oh my God, that explosion thing that Steve talked about is happening right now. You'll be able to know the moment that it starts. You'll be able to know with certainty when you look at the chart and you understand some really, really simple things. So that's what I want you to leave this video with. You're going to leave with a set of principles and rules that are so easy. And if you just follow them on your chart, you're going to know Bitcoin's next major move and what that's going to look like. So let's really start to dig into this pattern in 2021. For those of you who are relatively new to my channel, I love patterns. I've been on YouTube for 8 years. I started in the stock market like 25 years ago. My favorite thing is to look at where we're at in the market cycle relative to other market cycles. And these things leave huge clues. So the things that I like to really dive into the most is whether or not the market has bottomed, and also it's interesting whether or not the market has topped, why or why not. So these types of cycles are things that make me excited. So I wanted to share with you this pattern in 2021. Really, really simple, really, really clean. Before we get into the pattern, I want you to know about the RSI. RSI overbought, oversold. It goes from a range of 0, meaning all the humans in the world are selling anywhere below 30, and all the humans are buying anywhere above 70. Okay? So you always want to do the opposite of what the RSI is telling us, right? So the RSI got really high here in 2020, at the end of 2020, in the beginning of 2021. We were really overextended. And keep in mind, we're on a weekly chart. When you zoom out, there's not many data points that were this high. And when we got that high, it was pretty obvious that the market was really overextended. You can just look at the history, right? We don't need a degree to tell us like, okay, we can count on our hands how many times we've been this high. It's an anomaly, right? And whenever you get that high, there are problems, right? So we got that high, we had price here. And then we went higher in price 300 days later, and 300 days later, we went way lower in the RSI. Now, you may say, well, doesn't that happen a lot? No. In simple terms, when the price goes up, your RSI goes up. You'll see it throughout markets, right? Look at price drop, RSI drops. Price goes up, indicator goes up. Price goes down, indicator goes down. You know, for the most part, the high majority of the time, the indicator will follow what price is doing. It's really simple. And whenever you're looking at the chart and you're like, hold on a second, and this is on any time frame. You could be on the 1 minute time frame, the 4 hour, it doesn't matter. If you see price go high and then price go higher, and your indicator, whether it's the RSI, the stochastic RSI, or whatever your favorite indicator is, if that goes high and then a lower high, you've got bearish divergence on your hand, okay? So in our case, in 2021, we had those bearish divergence signals 300 days apart. We had this green box sitting pretty right in the middle, our anomaly, the price action below this green moving average. And by the way, the green moving average is the 21 SMA. You can go over to your indicators and type in moving average, and you're going to click on simple moving average, okay? When you type in moving average, there's going to be a lot of different ones, right? You got exponential, you got ribbon, you got weighted. If you want to know what those are, I have really cool classes on them, but you're just going to click simple. Simple moving average, you're going to pop that bad boy on, and you're going to go into your settings. And under MA, you're going to click whatever style, whatever color you want, and the thickness you want. I have it on the thickest and green, and then it will look exactly like this. And you'll throw on the weekly chart, and now your price action is set up. Then you set up your boxes, and you're looking good. Now, what you want to notice is how strong divergence is. Direct your attention to the most important divergence that we had in recent memory. That's when we were here, when we went from 17,000 down to 15,000. In other words, we made a low right after our red box, and then we made a lower low, right? So from our red box, we made a low and a lower low. At the same time, our indicator was making a low and a higher low. This is the opposite of bearish divergence. This is bullish divergence. Now you can see that this quite literally marked the market cycle bottom and exploded the market because it's bullish divergence, right? You need to understand how strong divergences are, especially at either the bottom of the market or the top of the market. They are everything. When you study market cycle bottoms and tops, you will see how often they are marked with divergences. Case in point, 2021 market cycle top was quite literally marked with bearish divergence. And the bottom of the market in 2022 was quite literally marked with bullish divergence. Luckily for you, if you're new to the channel, we covered both of them when nobody wanted to believe either. So just for a point of reference, nobody likes to believe it because it goes so far against what everyone is chanting. I just want to say that for the record. That's just a bona fide fact. Hate it or love it, men lie, women lie, the charts don't lie, right? We don't even need to roll the clip. I called the bottom when the bottom was in, and 85% of the people thought I was crazy. But again, you always want to be where not a lot of people are, and you always want to be believing and saying things that the high majority think are crazy. If you're saying things that everyone is agreeing with, you're on the wrong side of the fence. You're on the side of the fence with the high majority where everyone is shaking their head. Yeah, we believe that too. If you believe that and they believe that, you're on the wrong side of the fence. It's really hard to get on the right side of the fence because it's going to take a strong mind and a mental capacity to go against the grain, which is, luckily, that's how I was since I came out of the womb. So it feels comfortable to me to be on the other side of the fence where everyone's like, look at that strange guy over there talking crazy about all these things that don't even make sense. That's where you want to be, especially in markets like crypto. Now, we understand now, okay, bearish divergence marked the top here. Can't debate that. Bullish divergence started the bull market. Okay, this divergence thing has some legs. Now let's get into it further, right? Because we're in this red box, not up for debate. And what I also want to discuss is in last week's video, what we discussed, and by the way, great to see you. What we discussed was, hey, there were a few things that we wanted Bitcoin to do. And I want to give my latest and greatest opinions on what has happened since we've met. But in order for us to get to that point, we've got to talk more about this red box and what we're doing in this market cycle. So we've established the bearish divergence in 2021. We've established these red circles are about 300 days apart. We've established that this anomaly is right in between those. And we've established that we've done exactly that. In fact, in this market cycle, we have the same market structure. And you see in 2021, when we had this anomaly in this green box here, we came down to the market structure of our RSI of right here. That's interesting because that's exactly what we just did in this market cycle. Meaning in the green box that we just came in recently, we came down in the RSI to the exact same market structure. I know it's eerie, I know it's wild, but we actually did the same exact move when we came into this green box. 56 days apart, we had this data point here from May 17th, 2021, and then we had this July 12th right here inside of the green box at the market structure of the RSI of 44 on the weekly chart. Fast forward to this market cycle, anomaly, green box, right in between our two red circles, and a market structure 56 days apart at exactly the market structure of 44. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. These are bona fide facts. This is a bona fide pattern that has been repeating itself for hundreds of days, right beneath your nose and right beneath everybody's noses, but not anymore. So what we have in our hands is red circles, green box, all lined up, pound for pound, move for move, with even the same market structure. I know it's crazy. And then after this green box, we printed that final red circle, which happened to be the top of the market in 2021, right? That was the top. You can clearly see there was no other top after that, and that printed the bearish divergence, also not up for debate. What happened after the top is we moved below this green line for the second time, but this time into our red box. And what we had is some trouble in the red box and further resistance from our green line until ultimately having the final resistance from our green line back in April of 2022. And from there, we plummeted. Now, if you followed the markets back in April of 2022, I highly recommend you watch my videos because at the time we called for what's considered to be a mega crash. We called it a mega crash because we have another chart on top of this one that said the exact same thing, that the market was about to plummet to its market cycle bottom. Nobody wanted to believe us at the time, except a small handful of folks who probably handsomely profited from such a call. But again, when these patterns come, they repeat because they go against the grain. Everybody wasn't chanting mega crash here. They were chanting, we were about to go to 100K. You want to be on the other side of the fence, okay? Right now, we had what's considered an all-time high back here in January of 25. And from there, we crashed below this green line. Now, what I just said was not up for debate. These are facts. Back in 2021, we had an all-time high, and then we crashed below this green line. And we've just crashed below the green line, okay? That's a concern. And in last week's video, we said, look, we have a chance to have price get back above this green line. Let me tell you how that works. And we went into steps, which I'm about to give you the latest and greatest update. But for now, you can see that this candle that we printed on March 3rd, this was our breakdown candle, meaning it broke down below this green line. And the next candle from here, March 10th, this is what's considered our confirmation candle, okay? Same when you break up through something, that's your breakout candle, and then your next one is the confirmation candle. This is the breakdown because it's going down, and then this is still a confirmation candle. So we have confirmed below this green line. That's a problem. That's why we have a red arrow. However, we do have a green arrow here and a green arrow here. So I want to get further into that. Now, what we're looking for in this red box relative to where we were before in this red box is right now we're waiting for a stochastic RSI cross, which happens about 2 times per year. On the weekly chart, this weekly stochastic RSI cross marks all of our biggest moves. Plain and simple. Look back here. When we started in the bull run, we had a weekly stochastic RSI cross to take us into the bull run. And then we had this cross right here to give us this rally. And then we had this cross right here to give us this rally. And then we had this cross here in February 24 to give us this rally. Every rally that we've had in all of the years of the bull are with the stochastic RSI cross. So it's pretty easy to say, hey, we're going to have a stochastic RSI cross soon if we haven't had one already. It's inevitable. It's not something that Bitcoin could mysteriously avoid. These things happen twice per year. You can try to avoid it all you want, but it's going to happen either way. So we understand, okay, a stochastic RSI cross is coming. This is our momentum. We understand momentum is coming. So if you wake up in the coming days to coming weeks and Bitcoin is pumping, you're going to know why. There's no way in hell that you wake up a few days from now or a few weeks from now and Bitcoin's pumping and we don't have a stochastic RSI. It will be impossible. Okay, earlier I said I have a very important question. Well, here it is. I want to make a bonus video that's really impactful, that really answers your burning questions. It's going to be released on Tuesday, and it's going to be released to all of my students. I want to show a lot of love to all of my students and all of my different students. Like I have a lot of FFA students, so attention if you're in the FFA. I have a lot of course bundle students, attention if you're there. I have a lot of indicator bundle students, attention if you're there. Also folks that signed up to my masterclass. Any students, I want to hear in the comments, what is the bonus video you want me to cover on Tuesday? What is that thing, that burning thing that you want answered? That burning opinion of mine that you want based on some sort of topic? Let me know right now in the comments down below. I'm going to read all of them and then I'm going to make an absolute killer bonus video. Unfortunately, it's not going to be launched here on YouTube, but on Tuesday, it'll go out in an email to all of my students. So let me know in the comment, what kind of student are you? Are you an FFA, a course bundle, indicator bundle? Do you have all of it? Masterclass? What is it? And then let me know your topic. I'm going to show mad love to my students and I'll be seeing you with a special video on Tuesday. I guarantee whenever you look at your phone and things are pumping, you're going to come to the weekly chart. You're going to put on the stochastic RSI and you're going to be like, that's that thing Steve's talking about. That's that thing that happens twice per year that marks every one of the biggest moves. Yeah, it's coming. So just prepare yourself and pump the brakes, because once any pump starts coming, everybody's going to say, this is it. We're going to 500,000. And just, pump the brakes a little bit, live in reality, and focus on these clues that I'm about to give you. This game is simply that. It's like a professional sport. And if you're going to suddenly start playing basketball and then this year go out for the NBA, the professionals, you will get destroyed. But that's what everyone does in crypto. They're like, I'm going to be a professional crypto guy. And they're in it like a year, couple years without the proper training, without knowing how to play the game, without knowing how to win, without knowing the strategy behind it. And you don't do that in any professional sport. You're not like, I'm going to play football today. And this year I'm going to go out for the professionals without training for years and knowing how to play the game and the strategy. Come on, this is a professional sport. There's a reason why money is transferred from impatient hands to patient hands. Who are the patient hands? The people who know how to play the game. And who are the impatient people? Everyone else, the high majority, who's just trying to get into a trade and into another and into another. Hopefully this works. Oh my God, maybe this works. Oh, I hope this works. Oh, the last couple didn't work. I think this one will work. Oh my God, I'm going to sell now. I'm going to buy lower. Oh my God, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? You're trying to be a professional athlete without doing the training or knowing how to play the game or knowing the strategy, and you just expect to be a professional. That's why. That is a dose of reality. I had to wake up to that earlier in my career and smell the coffee and be like, okay, I'm not as good as I thought I was. Let me learn how to play this game. So that's what I want you to get. And that's why these videos are educational. I'm like, look, this is bearish divergence. This is how it's formed. This is how to tell. This is what to watch for. You know, I could make videos of like, buy this meme coin and make 1,000,000x. I'm sure that would get us more views, but it wouldn't help people. So what the hell would I be doing? Just benefiting my pockets? For what? That's not interesting to me. I don't need to benefit my pockets in that way. I never have. I never will. I try to benefit everyone watching, including you, with education, keeping you more level-headed, try to focus more on the facts, try to make a lot less trades and make smarter, wiser decisions based on facts and strategy and understanding the game. By the way, this is the moment you've been waiting for. This is my opinion on what has been going on over this last week with some people thinking that we received all of these bullish signs. Let's go one by one with these bullish signs and what we think about them. Point number one, we wanted Bitcoin never to go below 44 again in this bull run. So far, we've seen a bounce from this area. This is a good sign. But we didn't want for Bitcoin just to have one bounce. Our goal was to not go below here again during the whole bull run. So we're good so far, but we have to be true to the rule. We cannot go below 44, plain and simple, on the RSI. So pay close attention to that. And will we see a continued bounce higher and higher? And specifically, we need that to take out this pivot high if we really want to break the bearish divergence. That's point number one. Point number two, stochastic RSI. We wanted to see a cross. What do we see here? A cross. For this cross to become confirmed, we have to have the fast line, the blue, and the slow line, the orange. Both lines get above the 20 level, which is right here. Once we do that, we confirm. In other words, the earliest that we can have a true confirmation of this would be Sunday evening, 11:59 p.m. UTC time. That would be the earliest that we could possibly have said confirmation of a stochastic RSI cross. So should we be incredibly optimistic so far about this? No. Should we be incredibly optimistic about this bounce so far? We can be relatively optimistic, but let's be very clear. The rule is never to go below 44 again, not just bounce from 44. Now to the price action, we haven't done anything yet. We have not gone back above this green line. Plain and simple. That's what we need to happen, and we further need price to create an all-time high, which it's nowhere near doing yet. So that's exactly where we're at the moment. So, which leads us to this. Stochastic RSI cross is coming. Just be ready for it. Now, there's a few things that we wanted to watch for from last week's video. So let's get to exactly those. And there are a couple scenarios about how this thing could play out. And I want to be crystal clear about the possible scenarios and what to watch for in the chart, which will tell you exactly which scenario is going to play out. So let's go extreme bullish first. What are the things that need to happen in this chart right here for extreme bullishness to literally break the bearish divergence and have it be no more? Like literally and efficiently break, according to the textbook, how to break bearish divergence. This is the most bullish scenario. Let me lay it out to you. We have a stochastic RSI cross, right? This is a hypothetical, by the way. We have a stochastic RSI cross. It starts giving momentum into the market. The market never breaks 44 on the weekly RSI, and we see a continued bounce from there. So a stochastic RSI cross momentum. We do not go below 44. We stay above it. Price makes a new all-time high, and the RSI continues to rise, and price continues to rise, and the RSI takes out the prior swing high, which is from December 2024, which is about 79. Meaning, if we went higher in price, but the RSI just came and got resistance in this area from the 70, that's a continuation of bearish divergence. What do I mean by that? Well, take a look at this, right? When price goes up, right? Price goes up, 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 up. Let's say we get to this point here and we start dropping. We drop. We come down here. And then we see a reversal and price goes up again, and everybody's excited. But we turn and we come back and we come back to this structure. And what we're seeing is we could do this one. We could do our third one, meaning we have a high, a lower high, and a lower high in the RSI. If the RSI got into this area and came up, but got rejected here because of prior market structure, but we made a new all-time high, this is just even stronger bearish divergence. And let me be clear, Bitcoin has never had multiple data points of bearish divergence. We've only had 2 ever. And if you notice, you can say, oh, well, if Bitcoin has never done it, does it happen? And I present to you Exhibit A. This is the stock market. This is the S&P 500. This is the S&P 500 in the 1950s, where we had bearish divergence happen for like 13, 14 years, where the market continued higher and higher and higher and higher, while our RSI continued higher, lower, and lower, and lower, and lower. Well, the same thing's happening today, and it's the same thing since 2015, where the stock market is going higher and higher and higher and higher, while the past 10 years we've gone high and lower and lower and lower. That's bearish divergence over multiple years, 10 years to be exact. So the stock market is used to multiple cycles of divergence. The crypto market is not. Plain and simple. The crypto market marks market cycle tops, typically 300 days apart, and it's happened now in 2 other cycles. It's happening now for the 3rd time, and it's happened 2 other times, both of which were market cycle tops, and both of which were only 2 data points, which is exactly what we have now. We have data point 1 and data point 2. In 2021, we had 2 data points, data point 1 and data point 2. So let me be clear. This is how things could play out for crypto. What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. This bull run is our road to 500,000 subscribers, but I need your help. Today, tell one person about our YouTube channel, how we spit facts, go against the herd, take no paid sponsorships of any kind. Road to 500,000, let's go.